I do see that there is less angel investing in the last 2 years in the Netherlands as a whole, which worries me. I think it's strange that we are about 10% of the market.
Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Mechanics of Success. Today we have Frank Appeldorn with us. Hey Frank, how are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing really well. Looking forward to getting all your really intelligent questions.
Nice.
Excited to be here.
I
Thank
think we
you.
have
Thank you
a
for
little
having me.
left until the summer holidays, so it's good to catch you before that. Maybe we can start with a quick round of introduction from your side.
Yeah. So I'm a managing partner of Arches Capital, one of the founders. We do business-to-business software investments from 250,000 euros up to 1 million. We like to work with enthusiastic, optimistic teams that want to change the world, especially in this new exciting world with all the AI possibilities. And all the sense and nonsense that's going on surrounding that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with teams who want to drive that change.
And so how many portfolio companies do you have right now?
So at the moment we've done 28 investments. We are looking to close another 4 this summer. So we're quite busy, which is a good thing. From those 28, we have 2 large exits, some write-offs, some companies that are going extremely well and are doing large follow-on rounds, and some are in the middle. Yeah, we have everything.
Good. All right, then let's start with the questions. So, how do you define success in business, given that you're a investor?
Yeah.
And what actually drives you?
Success, there is a difference between success for me personally and what I would consider Arches Capital. For everything that I do for Arches Capital, the result is not the goal, but the result is that we have really high returns to our investors by doing these investments. That's the Arches Capital part. And if you want to measure that, you can measure that in the money multiple returned or the IRR, the financial metrics. For me personally, it's more about how do I treat entrepreneurs and how do we win together and how do we make sure that we go on this beautiful journey that ends really well and still are left with this beautiful relationship that we've built during that time. So that for me is why I do this and what gets me out of bed. I just love working with entrepreneurs who want to grow their business and get enthusiastic about that and help them in any which way I can to support that. When it succeeds, I get a kick out of that.
I mean, your personal and your Arches Capital success kind of aligns, right? Arches is successful, then also you're kind of happy and also successful.
If we succeed in providing the entrepreneurs with everything that they need to grow their business in a manner in which we work, which is plain fun to do and build on a lot of trust, and then Arches Capital succeeds as well.
So, given your success definition, if you were to build a successful business or to help out these entrepreneurs the best, what 3 key pillars do you base your thoughts on?
So first you have to find these entrepreneurs, or they have to find us, that we meet each other. Then you dig deeper into the team and why do they do that. To name 3 things out of that team is really difficult, right? So you have all these different types of personalities, complexities in what their experience is, what they can do, their optimism, their ambition, the road they have traveled and everything they take along in their models, be it in the business as well as mental. That's really difficult to put down in in say 3 pillars, or even a model, or even assessments. There is no assessment that judges for future, success in venture capital, and there will probably never will be, uh, because it's so complex. That's also why you need a lot of time spent doing conversations with different kinds of startup entrepreneurs to know what's good and what's not.
So I think you mostly focus on the team within Argus Capital, right?
So if we talk about the criteria that we use for selecting the investments, so the team is by far the most important. And also, it's besides some of the more objective qualities, like the experience that people have, the balance in the team, the traction that they have as a team. It's also about likability, coachability, if they like us and the way that we work, like our angels, because we're an angel syndicate, with a large fund attached to it. So yeah, that's the main criteria. Then of course we look at the market, their positioning, there's the way that they're unique, which is getting more and more difficult in terms of AI, because most investments that we are doing at the moment are AI based, of course. The market, the size of the market is really important. And then of course the terms under which we invest are extremely important.
And if you were to shorten it down to only 3 pillars, let's say first one is the team for you, that's
Yeah.
what I understood.
Yeah.
What would the other two be?
Yeah, so if I can take market and strategic positioning within that, then the third one would be the conditions in which we invest. And another that we have kind of 5 criteria that we use. The fifth one is the worldly impact. It shouldn't harm the world. Should have a
Okay.
positive outcome.
Let's dive into the team criteria. If you remember one of the successful startups you had, can you walk me through your initial conversations so that we understand the dynamics and what stood out while you were talking with them?
So the first investment that we did was in Eco Movement. Roderick, we sold the company last year to Dow Jones Energy. What was standing out there was that he just had a rough ride with investors, and he actually didn't want to have any involvement with other investors anymore. But his company, which has data of charge point operators, needed more money in order to capitalize on their strategic positioning, in order to open up more countries. And we were discussing that, and at that point, I believe that he found in me the investor that he needed or that he wanted. Yeah, we saw the entrepreneurs, Roderick and Falco, that could execute on this strategy. In these conversations, you kind of feel, okay, we both have the same vision. There's some coachability. They know what they want. They have the experience to do this. They can execute because they've done it before. Yeah.
And while you were talking with them, was the most thing that stood out was the chemistry or the execution speed, or what was it?
Well, we're looking at the whole picture. If one of those elements is missing, we will not invest. That's also the reason why we say no so many times, because one of these elements is missing. Either ambition or chemistry between us, or execution experience, traction.
What did they show or tell you that you actually said, okay, this team is qualified?
Or qualified in more reasons. First, the way they talk about business. How do they want to scale? What's their strategy? What's their ambition? But also, it's also very nuanced. If I give my opinion, I expect either in that session or in the sessions afterwards that the entrepreneur picks something up and does something with it. Either says to me why it's not a good idea, or says to me why it is a good idea. That's also how I train myself, of course. But I'd like to have a conversation that goes both ways. Yeah.
So that you want to see the founders that they already thought about all the possible scenarios and they know how to answer each of your questions.
I want them to learn, be open to that learning effect, to feedback,
Yeah.
both from me as well as the angels, as well as both the co-founders. So yeah, I think that openness is really important. That transparency, that trust, that I have the best intent for the company and for the person. Yeah, in both the business and the well-being of the individual.
And is there a specific question that you ask to all startups that you meet with?
No, I actually don't. I don't have a standard question. I take my conversations as they go. There are always certain touch points, or if a founder hasn't touched on why he's doing something, I think that's extremely important. Um, then I will always ask that, or
The purpose.
it's yeah, I think the purpose of why somebody's doing it is extremely important, or why the person ended up doing what he or she's doing is
Yeah.
important. For instance, I have a large relationship based business, and I like that because I just like building a long term relationships. That's just me and how I grew up with a large family. That's something that's so intrinsic to me that this business fits me, and so there are aspects for entrepreneurs why they do the stuff that they do, and
Fair.
and
Fair
that
enough.
also makes them stick with it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Otherwise, they cannot work on the same project for 10 plus years.
Indeed.
And during your process in Artist Capital, do you leverage AI or these new tools that are emerging to achieve the success you want?
Yes, we do use the AI tooling. There are a couple of aspects to this question.
Yeah.
So one is on the marketing side. For the marketing side, social media, we sometimes use AI to refine some posts or some content. But other than that, in our deal flow process, we use it mainly for checking competitors and markets because AI is really good at that. For internally, we are currently seeing, okay, how can we make our processes more efficient and get rid of some other legacy tooling that we have. Yeah, that's how we use it there. In the interactions with our portfolio companies, besides some financial things, not. I like those relationships and I like to keep them warm.
Of course. And for analyzing like the competition or the market insights, do you just like prompt to cloud or do you have a system for that?
We have a system for that, and we used a couple of systems. We tried a couple of systems, and we have now which works, but we'll probably revisit that every year in order to see if there are competitors that are better, or these tools evolve extremely fast.
Yeah,
We will also adapt to that if we need it. I think
and for competitors, do you assess specific trends, like how much people they hire or what kind of job applications they open, which regions, etc.?
No. What we're specifically looking at is strategic positioning. So what are they doing strategically? Where are they going to? What type of clients? Also in like you said in what countries? Um,
But how do you find that information?
you go deeper, so you look at documents, you talk to industry people. Of course, we have our 100
Yeah.
angels who usually we have three, four, five that know a specific industry very well. So we get them involved, see what they know and what they think of the different competitors. So that's how we try to yeah make sure that what we do is sound.
Then on to my favorite question.
Yeah,
So what is one fundamental assumption about how business works?
yeah,
One once you believed or one widely accepted as truth that you now consider as a dangerous hallucination?
yes. hallucinations. Of course, a good pun towards the AI tools. The world is evolving, right?
Yeah.
And very fast. In the last year and a half, maybe even before that, since the start of ChatGTP, and also before that with Corona, it was a crazy time. So we now get to grips with this new environment. So before and also during Corona, I would use to say for companies in our range, we would provide them finance and help them grow up to 1 million, and if they would reach that in 18 months, that would be a follow-on. So that growth to 1 million should be able to be doable, and growing from that, yeah, it should take about 100% growth per year. That would be enough for a follow-on round. Especially that phrase, I would say a lot to entrepreneurs. If you grow 100%, you'll get a follow-on round. And at this moment, that's just not the case anymore.
Yeah.
If you take a look at the speed in which companies are growing at this moment, that's far higher than, and some companies, that's far higher than before. And all the VCs are trying to get in there. So it's the distribution of money towards entrepreneurs is skewed, and will probably skew even more in the upcoming years, if we already are seeing this in the early stages. But we also see it on a bigger stage, of course, with the horizontal LLMs, where huge piles of money are going in, and huge is probably an understatement there. So that's probably the biggest, yeah, hallucination, that, or a thing I said in the past that I'm not saying anymore. So I think you need to grow at least 200% per year in order to make sure that you'll get
At
a,
least.
a follow-on investment at least. Yeah.
And how did you come to realize this?
Well, by testing the waters. So we
Okay.
we have a couple of great companies, and you go out doing follow-ons, and you think this is the greatest company in the world, and other people say, yeah, we see better companies, and yeah, we see other companies growing faster, and yeah, it's difficult with the competitive landscape. There's also something that is very trending today. Yeah, because of AI, you can build anything really fast. So
Yeah.
yeah, it used to be Google. You always used to, before COVID, you used to get the question, yeah, isn't Google going to do this? And at this moment, it's just, yeah, who's going to build this? And how fast is that entrepreneur be able to scale the business? And that's the million dollar question, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. $1 million question. Okay. And reflecting a bit on the future, how do you see what it will take to be successful as a
Ha!
person or as a business
Yeah.
shifting over the next decade with all these social media, AI, Gen Z, politics, economics, and all these things?
First of the things that I don't have any influence on. So I hope that we'll get an app and get an environment, an ecosystem that can serve startups to grow. And there are different ways. So it would help when there is stability in the world economy. It would help if Europe gets more integrated. It would help if the fiscal authorities are more lenient towards startup investors. It would help if our schooling systems would produce better entrepreneurs. All these things where I don't have any influence on, I'd like to help, but that's something that's out of my hands. Same goes for the money circle, so to say, or the money carousel. I hope there's a lot of IPOs, a lot of exits, so that money carousel spins faster and faster, so that angels and companies have money to invest in companies.
You interact with a lot of angels, and do
Yes.
you
So
see a
so so
trend?
that's the I just described the world where I don't have any influence on.
Oh
So
yeah. Okay.
So, and now the world where I do have influence on. So I'm trying to set up the best platform for entrepreneurs to come along and help grow their business. And I like working with entrepreneurs. So sometimes I do not need to invest in companies in order to give them advice or give them if something takes me 5 minutes and it would help them, for instance, network relationships, I would do that. So how do I see this evolving? I see this evolving in such a way that we will do the same thing, but will incrementally get better and shift with the different trends that are coming. Because the things will change, and we will see a lot of changes still, and we should be able to handle that, both as organization as Archie's Capital, as well as my portfolio companies.
Yeah. And you interact with a lot of angels, right? Angel
Yep,
investors. And do you
definitely,
see a trend where I suppose some of them are previous founders that
definitely.
are trying to give back to the community.
Mhm.
So do you see a clear trend where giving back to community amount is increasing or decreasing?
We're a large angel network. I think one of the largest in the Netherlands, of 100 angels. What So what I see is that about 10% of shifts every year. So 10 angels go away. They're done with investing, or they've
Yeah.
invested enough, or they allocate enough money in this asset class, and they go away. Still interested, but not investing anymore. And 10 new ones will show up. In that cascade, I'm not seeing a clear trend that at least my community is investing less and less. I do see that there is less angel investing in the last 2 years in the Netherlands as a whole,
Okay.
which worries me. I think it's strange that we are about 10% of the market. That's a number of deals. There are about 69 deals, and we did six of those. That worries me, and I hope that there will be more angel investments made, because that's the bread and butter of the ecosystem, or at least the basis of the ecosystem. That's probably a better phrasing. So I do see that trend in the statistics. I don't see it at our company.
Good to hear that.
Yeah.
And now I ask you some questions, but I give you the mic to ask a specific person that you think is successful. One question to understand how they achieved what they achieved. What would that question be?
I believe that the CTOs are in a kind of a whirlwind at the moment. If you are in a scale-up company, or in a startup that has been around for a couple of years, having first your legacy base or kind of legacy base, and then now moving towards AI tooling and preparing your software for that. I think that that's a big transition, and in that process, keeping your team happy, maybe even growing your team, or doing with less because you can code more efficiently. So a lot of changes on that side happening. So I would be interested in the CTO, how he or she handles that.
Okay.
And one person comes to mind is Daniel Gabler of Picnic. Um,
All right. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
he's handling that, in this whole flurry of changes, and still
Okay.
growing with immense speed. Yeah, which is impressive,
Nice.
of course.
I think yeah, it's quite hard, as you said. Like a lot of tools, a lot of competition, high execution speed is just too
Yeah.
might be sometimes too overwhelming
Hmm.
for startups, especially CTOs, CPOs. So let's see if he replies. Thank you, Frank. Thank you for
Thank you.
all the amazing insights that you shared with me today.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for
thank
your
you for
time.
accepting my invitation, of course.
Of
And
course. Looking
yes,
forward.
have a great day.
All right. Same to you.
Yes.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye bye.